Hi, guys, and welcome to another episode of UAE Trailblazers on Khaleej Times. My name is Yasmine, and today I'm joined by none other than Hadeel Marei. Hi, Hadeel.
Hi, Yasmine. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
You're such a versatile comedian. We've seen kind of your transformation over the years, just through the content and the things that you've been putting out. Do you feel like you're a comedic relief friend that people go to when they're feeling down?
Girl, stop it. I'm flattered. Retweet all of that.
Yeah.
Plus.
plus.
I couldn't have put it better myself. I use social media essentially as a way to express myself because I find myself not to be able to do that verbally, if that makes sense. So I use it to express myself visually, express myself through satire, and not necessarily in comedy. Sometimes if I'm having a bad day, which we all do, I am very comfortable with reflecting that online. And I believe that you should try your best to be who you are offline as who you are online, because I've noticed recently that people care more about who they are online, and real life doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
It matters who you are online.
Yeah.
And that is it. And it is disturbing.
Have you ever felt like there was a time in your life where there was that distinction of I have to be like this online and I have to be like this offline? Or has it always been aligned for you?
I try my best to stay who am I offline and online, because it is so easy to curate a perfect life. It is so easy to curate and edit out the bad moments, edit out the sad moments. And sometimes you have to put on a show. And this is offline as online as well. Sometimes you go to work and you have to put on a show.
100%. I feel like that's that's my life every day. No, I'm kidding. But it's everyone's lives. You can't
100%.
You can't be walking around like an open wound kind of thing, you know, every day. How do you feel like that kind of dictates your comedic style? Do you feel tell us about the style that you think you have.
I think I do satirical comedy. I read that once. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to just run with that word. I'm going to memorize it. I'm going to say it whenever anyone asks me. Or situational comedy. I learned this as well. Yeah, so it's like when you do comedy skits that is inspired by real life situations that happen to you or that you've seen happen to someone. Okay. So that really is what drives me. And I love mocking that and I love showcasing it.
Yeah.
It's like a moment of, guys, we all do that. Can you imagine? And it's crazy how people relate to things and they go like, oh, I do that too. I do that as well. I thought that. It's like how we believe all mothers have the same manual and say the same sentences. It's that.
But there must have been a time in your life where you thought, okay, I am funny. My friends think I'm funny, but how do I take this to the next step? How do I show the rest of the world that I can kind of do this?
Oh my God. God bless my friend's heart. Maha AJ, shout out.
Shout out, Maha.
God bless Maha's heart because she struggled with me for 3 years to convince me. Because I used to, okay, long story short.
Yeah.
I was a dentist. I'm a retired dentist.
Okay.
And when I was doing dentistry and studying it in uni, I heartedly knew, apologies guys, English is my second language.
By the way, feel free to put in some Arabic words, it's all good.
Yes.
Do it.
So I knew with my full heart that I don't like dentistry. I took it out of logic. I didn't take it out of passion, out of love. And that's fine. A lot of people do things out of logic. But I knew that the very first chance I'd get to leave that and do something else, I would take it.
Yeah.
So Maha knew that I love YouTube and I love watching and consuming YouTube. And she's like, Hadeel, why don't you do that? Why don't you do that? And I'm like, what? It's impossible. What do you mean I can't do that? It's like the limit does not exist. What do you mean? This does not exist in my reality. So it took her a lot of convincing. And she eventually got into social media herself by accident. It's actually a really funny story. You guys should have her on this podcast.
Yeah, yalla, Maha, where are you? Someone call her.
Wait, let me call her. Anyway, so she got into it, and then she's like, Hadeel, okay, jump, come. let's do it.
Yeah.
And her support and my family's support and my extended friends' support is what made me get into that and just start essentially with no plan. I didn't know what I was doing. I still
Yeah.
don't know what I'm doing. And it's surprising how a lot of people are like that. And they create an
many.
illusion that they know what they're doing, but they really don't.
I think there's a beautiful chaos that comes with not knowing what you're doing.
Yeah, right?
Because it's like, that's where creativity comes from, right?
Yeah, I
Like-
agree.
Like not everyone, no. Imagine knowing every single thing you're gonna do and say and what funny things that are gonna come
That
to your
is
mind.
my control freak dream.
Yeah.
I'm such a controller. Like
Really?
I love controlling everything and micromanaging everything and making sure that nothing
Really?
is like not miscalculated, despite I give a very different perception.
Okay.
But reality is I'm a control freak. That is my dream, what you just said right there.
Is it a fear of like just making a mistake or something? Is that where it stems from? Or is it just
Yeah.
yeah?
Yes, it's a fear of making a mistake. It's a fear of losing control. It's a fear of like, I don't know, just doing something wrong. Like, yeah.
So does that mean that like your content, is it mostly scripted or is it just kind of you think of something and then you go ahead and film it?
It is improv, like it's improvised. It's not scripted, but there is like some dull, faded skeleton to it. If I
Okay,
can,
that's a really nice way to put it. I like that.
You know,
Okay, there's a shape, there's a vague shape.
There's a vague shape.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that.
Yeah.
And then you kind of just go from there.
Exactly.
Has it ever been scripted or do you ever want to get into that kind of comedy where like you write something and then you go?
I think there is a healthy medium in between both.
Okay.
Like, because for me, personally, I'm just speaking from my own perspective.
Mhm.
Being too scripted, I lose my soul. I lose
Yeah.
my essence.
Yeah.
So I'm performing and everything is on the dot. However, there is no soul to it. And when it's too improv, it's too chaotic,
Yeah.
my message doesn't get across. My intentions don't get across.
Yeah.
So that is also not a desirable outcome. So
Mm-hmm.
something in the middle is nice. So there's headlines, there is a feel to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just go with it.
You go with it.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. You have kind of shed light on the fact that you have struggled in the past with bullying and with body image perceptions and stuff like that. Everybody's been bullied, right? I feel like 80% of us have had issues.
Yeah,
with
100%.
bullying. But it's really the art or maybe the channeling of what to do with that trauma that really kind of brings character, like builds your character. How do you think being bullied has kind of shaped your comedy or shaped who you are today as Hadeel?
As an Arab girl in an Arabic society, we've all been bullied.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's not gonna come from, it's a form of, it's a love language in itself, kind of. Like I find most mothers be scared to be overly kind to their kids.
Okay.
But it's tough love. It's always tough love. It's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there is like, the West came in and they're like, oh, that's bullying. That is trauma.
Yeah.
So we've kind of grew to have thicker skin.
Mm-hmm.
We need to deal with that eventually. We're unpacking that now.
Yeah, all of us.
In our adulthood.
Generational drama.
All of us. I don't know how it shaped me. Like I'm reflecting on that now as you asked me that question, which is a really good question, by the way. I think it made me realize that not everything is about me. You need to kind of look at the thing from outside a little bit and realize like not to take everything too personal. And sometimes the language that people use and the terms that they say and the hate that they give towards other people is actually something that they're passing on.
100%.
It's something that was given to them and they're passing it out. They didn't know.
Yeah.
They didn't acknowledge it. They're not even aware of it. They're passing it on. And that's it.
Do you think that first of all, was it like verbal bullying in school and stuff like that? Or was it physical?
It was both.
It was both.
Yeah. I remember one time a group of girls, I was in fourth grade, third grade. And when we were done with school, we were all heading to our buses. We were waiting for our bus.
Mm-hmm.
And a group of high school girls came in. I think there were 3. And then they're like, oh, you're so cute. You're so adorable. Look at her cheeks. And they start like extremely pinching my cheeks, which was so painful.
Yeah.
But it's almost like soft bullying. Like you don't understand
It's a
what is
bit
happening.
gaslighty, to be honest, right? Because you're like, they're saying I'm cute, but at the same time, I'm
Yeah,
feeling
it's
pain.
painful. And then they started saying, you know what? I bet I can carry you. And then they started having this competition where who's able to carry me and lift me from the ground.
Okay.
And that was very weird.
It's a bit like you feel a bit objectified in a way. You're like,
Yeah, it's a competition.
It's a
about, like,
weird-
who can lift me up. Like, I don't know. It was
Yeah.
so weird.
I mean, I'm trying to put a word to it, but I can't find the word, and that's probably okay. Like,
Girl, same.
yeah. I mean, but you know, in those traumatic moments, sometimes they give you a strength in life, and sometimes they give you kind of this trigger point. What strength do you think it's given you? Do you feel like you've overcome something to the point where you're like, I'll never let XYZ happen to me again?
It definitely made me kinder to humanity. Like, it made me feel like you have to be more self-aware. You can say something and it can hurt the person in front of you.
Okay.
It made me feel like I don't want to be the reason. I'm sure they weren't doing it intentionally, which is funny because we
Yeah.
think that villains and people who are evil in our life are very calculated and they're very intentional about it. But then the more that I grow, the more that I feel that it is really not.
Yeah.
And you could have been the bully and the villain in someone else's story.
That's such a
But
good point.
we always imagine ourselves to be the good people. But it happens very calmly. It's not how it's portrayed in the media. In the media, it's very distinctive.
Yep.
Here is the bully. You can't sit with us. We
Yeah.
don't like it's
Yeah.
very clear that this is the bully. But in real life, it is not. In
Subtle.
real life, the bully can be also a very friendly, nice person who did not who failed himself at that moment because of the lack of self-awareness. Because I'm not exempting that some people are calculated and they make those conscious decisions.
Yeah.
However, I think that sometimes it is not, and sometimes it can be you. And this experience made me more aware of that.
I think that's such a important point. That your words can cut deeper than any kind of calculated, something that you mean to do. Basically, like your comments here and there can really affect how somebody views themselves that day.
True, 100%. It's
So-
not only that day; they can carry it with them.
They can carry it with them.
forever, and they can project it onto other people.
100%. It's a little thing that they carry with them.
Yeah.
So I think that is what actual bullying is. Those little cuts and grazes that you really overlook sometimes, but they shape who you are.
Yeah, true.
So let's talk about body positivity, because you've been an outspoken advocate about that.
Yeah.
What do you want to tell girls, or girls, boys, whoever is making content, whoever is in the public eye right now? What is something that you really believe people should kind of take in and believe about themselves? Like something you've learned that you'd like to pass on?
I'm so glad you brought this up because there is a misconception about body positivity that I've witnessed myself. Because when I tell people love yourself, accept yourself, be body positive, whenever I go to the gym or I work out or I lose weight, they go oh, so you don't love yourself. So you
Yeah.
told us body positivity and then you went ahead and lost weight. But how are those two things related? How? They're not. To love yourself and to
No.
be body positive, it means to accept yourself, accept your body. It's nature of change.
Yeah.
It's nature that it will gain weight, it will lose weight, it will. But you have to be kind to yourself, because what a horrible hell
Yeah.
to live if you constantly hate the way you look, because that is your body. That's what you live in.
Did you feel like you went through that?
Of course, 100%.
Yeah.
Because I don't fit the stereotypical beauty standard. I've had a limited belief that I don't deserve a job because of the way I look. I don't deserve to stand out because I don't deserve to say my opinion because of the way I look.
Wow.
I have no say in things. I don't
Yeah.
deserve to get a job. I don't, despite me
It's
being
so connected.
qualified,
Yeah.
like, let alone social acceptance and having a
Mhm.
network and having friends and having a romantic interest, let alone this,
Yeah.
I didn't believe that I deserved to speak or to earn a job that
How
I
interesting.
qualified for.
How interesting
Yeah.
that you thought that you
Yeah.
thought your looks
It
determined
was
your self-esteem.
mind baffling when I got my first job opportunity, and it was mind baffling when I got the paycheck. It was
Wow.
mind baffling.
What was like the inner Hadeel saying to you? Like the little girl who like felt that way. Was there a inner voice that kept ruminating, that kept saying like, you don't deserve this? Or what was or were you like, finally somebody sees my value, or what was it?
No, I always feel like a scam artist. Like, I managed to manipulate my way in,
Yeah.
that I don't belong, but
Yeah.
I'm just
Imposter syndrome.
Imposter syndrome. There you go. So that's how it feels still.
I love that topic though, because
Yeah.
I feel like it's so like people resonate with it a lot.
Yeah.
How did you get over that? How did you get over the imposter syndrome?
Who told you that I got over that?
Yeah. How do you manage it?
You just, thing is, my mind tends to fixate on things.
Mhm.
So the more you feed it, the more it would fixate on it. So I try not to fixate on it. It goes like, oh, you don't belong here. I'm like, okay, I don't belong here. Khalas, we need to do this now.
Okay.
We're gonna do it. Oh my God, it's like the tough mother love.
Yeah. There you go. That's where it
Tough
comes
love.
from.
So I tough love. I go like, okay, I don't belong. And okay, and now what?
And now what, we wait?
You don't belong. You have this to do. You have this task. You have to do it here. You have to do this.
Yeah.
You're gonna show up and do it, and then you know what? Go ahead and say,
Khalas, go.
Yeah, that's it.
Give yourself time to go and
Exactly.
and think. But like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great strategy, by the way.
Yeah.
That is tough love,
It
tough mother
has
love.
worked for me. It has worked for me.
All right. Well, I'm gonna do that next time. Next time I'm like having some nerves.
Yeah, it's like, okay, you
And
don't
then-
belong here. And now what? You're not up
We're
for it.
gonna wait.
And then what? So you think everyone who has a job deserves it and has earned it, and
Yeah.
they are quality? No, but they're doing it.
Oh my God, this is a great.
do the same.
This is a new form of therapy. Great. Tough mother love.
Yeah, tough love.
Okay. So the body image and body perception stuff, I think this is something that will stay with a lot of people who go through it.
Yeah.
And I think it's like, I think everyone, I feel like people you don't even know would go through it, still go through it. Anyone who's in the public eye. Do you feel like,
And not in the public eye.
and maybe
because,
not in the public eye.
within our homes, within our family structure, when you go to that one cousin or when you go to that one auntie,
Yeah.
and the first thing she says before hi or hello is,
You
you don't look
weight.
so good.
You look-
What happened? You gained weight. You look so pale. Why don't you look sick?
Did you see that meme where it's like when someone, an aunt says mashallah, you don't know if it's like mashallah you've gained so much weight or mashallah you look good. You
Which
don't know
mashallah is
which,
it?
Which mashallah?
Which mashallah is it? You know? So everyone goes through it.
I know, 100%. So let's talk about your new venture, which is your podcast.
Yeah.
Podcast Unos.
Yes, I'm super excited about it.
Tell us a little bit about that. So how did that come about? When did you feel like you needed to create a podcast and why?
Okay. So me and Maha, circling back to Maha, we decided to do a podcast, and it was actually her initiative. She's like, Hadeel, I want to do a podcast. And I'm like, me being the skeptic I so ever am, I go like, sure.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Why not?
What are we gonna do it about? Like, what are we gonna talk? And then like we found ourselves doing it and getting into the process, getting the equipment, structuring the show, figuring out the identity of the show. The identity of the show at its core is that we want you after a long day to unwind and sit and laugh
Yeah.
at everything. Laugh at your misery.
Yeah.
Laugh at your happy moments. Laugh at your grand moments.
I love that.
Laugh at everything, because like laughter and comedy have their way. I actually learned how that you can, for example, because confrontation, I don't sit well with confrontation.
Yeah.
And for me in my head, confrontation is always serious and aggressive and dramatic and intense. but it doesn't have, it can be much lighter. It can be done in a very different tone, in a very different way. And I learned that because of comedy.
And the power that comedy has, like you can actually stop a fight or an argument or that tension, that tense feeling with just a joke.
Yeah, exactly.
little
Because
giggle.
it takes you out, because when you're in the middle of something,
Yeah.
you're so zoomed in.
Yeah.
You're inside it. It has engulfed you. The situation has become bigger than you, and you have become inside of it. But comedy comes in and it makes everything feels so ridiculous
Yeah.
and so small. And then you have this bird's eye view of everything. And then you're like, oh, silly me.
Like, why did I even think?
Yeah, why did I even think of that?
And then when you feel that shift from like positive, from negative to positive, you're like,
oh my
wow.
God, you know what? It's a very silly example, but notice when a child trips and falls,
Yeah.
there's this pause.
There's a pause.
There's a pause. There's a very, very minor pause.
They're waiting for your
where
reaction.
they read the room and see if the reaction of the people around them is, oh, Habibi, oh my God. He starts crying immediately.
Yeah.
If the reaction around them was like, oh, haha, silly you tripped and fell. He goes like, ha, I tripped and fell. Notice it. Like literally they wait to read the reaction of, and
It's
there was
fascinating.
this thing that went viral where parents would hold their babies.
Yeah.
And then they're holding the baby, so they didn't do anything to the baby. The baby is perfectly safe.
Yeah.
And then they pretend that they hit a wall. Like they do this and then they hit a wall and they go like, Habibi, oh my God. The baby starts crying because it believes that
they got hurt.
That they got hurt, but they didn't. So comedy is such a powerful tool, and you can discuss with it pretty much everything. Even the grimmest life situations, you can discuss it through comedy. And that's what Podcast Donos is all about. It's just us having a chat about like different social topics and laughing at them. We're not making fun of them because
Yeah.
well, sometimes we do.
Yeah.
But it's pretty much just to laugh about it. And we just wrapped up season 1.
Nice.
Yes.
How many
and
episodes?
8 episodes.
Okay, amazing. And where can people watch these episodes? On YouTube?
Everywhere.
Okay, good.
Everywhere. YouTube, all the streaming podcast platforms are like, it's there on our social. It's there.
Yeah.
And there's an episode coming up every Friday at 7 p.m. UAE time. So yeah.
So this is like, who do you want to watch your podcast?
Everyone.
Is it everyone? Okay.
Everyone is welcome to our podcast. We don't discriminate. If you can understand Arabic or not, maybe you want to learn Arabic.
So it's in Arabic. Yeah.
Maybe you want to learn Arabic, because we were so keen on keeping it in Arabic because there isn't a lot of Arabic content.
100%.
In the world, there's like, it's 5%. It's like a very, you can, on one hand, like it's like 5%, 4%. I don't know.
That's fascinating, by the way.
Yeah.
There's like 144 million podcasts in the world.
Oh
I
my
think.
God. What? Funny enough, I feel that I feel most comfortable when I'm in a room that has 3-4 different nationalities from different continents. Like that's where I'm most comfortable.
Yeah.
Because it is very enriching, like culturally enriching. And I feel that for me specifically, I've been influenced by my own culture from my upbringing, from my mom and dad. I was born in Egypt, and then moving to the UAE. It's a very culturally rich scene where you can meet people from everywhere. It's like you're like traveling every day, essentially. If you would notice that.
Yes.
And there's a lot of power to that. Like I learned about like my friend's country and how the map looks like and what is this area and their music and their language and how they use specific terms and everything. And there is a lot of closeness to that. And then and then from the Western media, you'd get influenced with the movies and the music and like there is a lot of enrichment to that. And then you can express yourself in multiple different ways. You're not boxed in one thing.
That's good. It's good that you see it as like a more of a means of a more expression rather than a limitation.
It's just a means of communication, and that's it. Language is just a means of communication. And there are a lot of misconceptions about people who have express themselves not in their mother tongue. So your mother tongue is Arabic. Why are you talking to me in English? Are you looking down on me?
Yeah.
Do you want to show that you're more educated? No. if anything, it shows that I'm uneducated because I can't express myself fully in my mother tongue. And this shows a lack. So I feel small at that moment, and I feel limited that I'm unable to communicate in my mother tongue.
Yeah.
So that's where representation is very important. So that like we'll do content in Arabic and we'll focus on doing it 100% in Arabic. Some words will slip 100%.
Yeah.
But it's because of our limitations, and it humbles us.
Are you fluent in Arabic? Like, are you good? Like, can you have full conversation?
كويس عادي الحمد لله.
Okay. Good. Okay. So how good are you with accents?
I pretty much got a discount the other day because I was talking.
No way. Can you just play it up whenever you want?
Well, there are a couple of dialects that I've accents that I've mastered.
Okay.
Like Sudanese, Iraqi, Lebanese. I've pretty much mastered those. Like I'm passing. Like at the end, like people would be shocked. They're like, "Wait a minute, you're not Sudanese?" What do you mean?
Is it just like, are you good with mirroring how people would say something, and then you're able to like kind of do it yourself, or how do you learn accents? I feel like that's the hardest thing.
I learned it because like observation, being friends with a person from that country, and then I remember with my friends telling them like, "Why are you talking to me like in Egyptian? You're not Egyptian.
Oh,
talk in your dialect. I will understand."
Yeah.
And they're like, "No, but it's very hard." Like, da, da, da. I'm like, no. Like, let's do it. Like, do it.
Yeah.
And then it's a funny process because I have this friend who pretty much I met her when I was in elementary school, and we're still friends till now. Shout out Shahad. So Shahad is from Iraq, and she would talk to me fluently in Iraqi, super speed. And for the very first years, I swear to you, I don't know how we were friends because I did not understand a single thing she was saying. I was just nodding.
Yeah.
And agreeing and smiling.
Yeah.
And sometimes her reaction would be like, "What? Why are you smiling at this? I just told you a very bad thing that happened. What do you mean?" So like just
is your
having
mind
conversations with my friends around that and listening to their dialect, listening to their music, watching their movies, watching whatever, this helps you pick up on that. And also you practice, right? So I talk to them in their dialect, and that's how we exchange cultures. And I do the same. Whenever someone tells me that they don't watch Egyptian movies, I'm triggered.
Really?
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
What do you mean? How dare you?
I mean, that's all we had at some point in our lives. Like Egyptian movies are. I'm so sorry.
Don't worry about it.
No, it's just because like Syrian came into the picture also, like all the musalsalat during Ramadan and everything. So I'm like, okay, I don't know.
Oh my God.
Gonna get in trouble anyway. So
and they've mastered that drama.
I
love it. I love it.
I know, it's great.
Yes, and the Lebanese drama.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, girl. So
I know. We have a lot of good content, to be honest. I mean, it's very dramatic.
Yeah, and there's room for more. There's room for more. We are very intense. We are Arabs.
We're very dramatic. We're very intense, and we are not afraid to say it. That's the thing.
We are spicy.
But the thing is, so with the accents and everything, you know that's really good for like acting. Have you ever thought about going to acting?
I have actually took acting workshops, and it really humbled me.
It's a practice in letting go.
It's a very humbling experience because you're being judged basically. And it also made me realize, despite like I want to act for sure, and I took those acting workshops with that intent.
Yeah.
And despite it being a work in progress, I haven't landed in your roles yet. But you can reach out. I'm very grateful for those acting workshops because it humbled me, first of all. And second of all, the art of noticing people's vocab. What vocab are they using in their speech? Because you can communicate the same thing in 1 million ways. It's not only the tone, it's what kind of vocab that they're using. And I learned that when I was reading a script. And I remember the acting instructor who gave me his name is Ahmed al-Zughbi, and he's phenomenal in what he does. He told me, هديل الكلام ما بيتقالش كده. Like يعني every word that was written in that script wasn't just written for the sake of them having empty space.
Yeah.
It was very intentional. So every letter, there is a way to it. So I started noticing that in my social setting and when I meet people and what vocab they use.
Oh, that's interesting. So what do you learn? What can you know about people with the vocab?
Oh, girl, I'm not gonna give you all my secrets in this podcast.
Can you tell me about me?
I'm gonna keep some for myself.
Tell us your secret.
I believe that people show you who they are in the first 5 minutes, and it's up to you to take that or leave it.
Oh wow, really?
The very first 5 minutes, they show you who they are.
Interesting.
Based on a study that I did by myself in my room.
Based on just
and
feelings.
And a conclusion that I have jumped to, but
No
I'm
science.
saying wholeheartedly in this podcast because I was given a mic.
And therefore you are qualified.
Getting you here.
No, I love this. I just want like someone to analyze me. I like this stuff. But no, this is great. This is I'm so excited for your like next ventures. I really want to see what you're going to be doing
Thank
next.
you.
What do
Wait,
you
on that topic, on the topic of vocab and people picking up.
please?
I was in a social setting where this person was talking nonstop about something, and then it took us, I think, 30-40 minutes to convince him that we are on his side.
Oh,
Homeboy, we're on your side. Why are
you thought you were arguing with him?
He thought he was very fixated on us being arguing, but we were not. We were on his side. So it took us 30 to 40 minutes, and then I was like invested because like it's a conversation, right? So you'd assume that your input is necessary, but not all the time. Some people just want to vent.
Yeah. That's
And then
true.
I was like, oh, wait a minute. He doesn't want my opinion. He wants to vent.
He just wants to say what he wants to say.
Yeah, and I based a couple of assumptions in my own head, of course. And then turns out he just wanted to vent.
So the way people say things and the words they use is very, I guess, telling of
Language is very important.
Language
What
is
terms
very
you use, what language you use, how you describe things.
That's
It
why
reflects
actually
a lot.
sometimes I feel like people whose the English is not their first language, sometimes they're actually better communicators than people who have English as their first, because they have to choose their words very like intentionally.
Yes.
Like, I don't know if you've noticed that, but I've noticed it a lot here, especially in Dubai. Like people who's, because then I'm like, okay, now I understand what you're like. I understand what you want.
Yeah, exactly.
Rather than somebody who uses like flowery language and they go on and on. Because then I'm like, what did you say? What do you mean?
Can you be more specific?
Yeah. Just tell me exactly what you want.
Tell me exactly what you want.
Yeah. What's next for you? What do you feel like you want to do next after like, and now you have your podcast, which is awesome. Is there something in the pipeline where you feel like you might be going into something else? Creative? Actually, not even creative.
Am just fixated now on the podcast, honestly.
Good.
I'm having so much fun doing it. I can't wait to do the next season already. Like, even though the first season is not fully out.
Yeah.
So that is really like where I'm at the moment. Acting as well. If an opportunity presents itself, I'm jumping on that wagon.
Yeah.
I just do things that I love to express myself through.
Yeah.
And it makes me more well-rounded. It makes me feel like I've had an enriching life. So that's what I do.
So just before we go, I have one last question. What do you think you would tell younger Hadeel today if she wanted to get into what you're doing now?
I would tell her to trust the process, even though the process knows you're not trusting it.
It doesn't know that you're trusting it.
No, I'm a very skeptic person. So I don't trust anything.
Yeah.
So the process doesn't know that I'm trusting it. But like, you have to let go and just
Let it be.
just let the wheel. Just
Yeah.
let go of the wheel.
Take
And let it, let life flow the way it does, and just have this confidence that you are safe and that you are okay, and things will turn out to be okay. And I think that doesn't just apply to me, it applies to everyone.
Great.
So, very universal advice.
Beautiful. No, I love that.
But very, very specific.
It's you know what? The more universal something is, the more specific it is sometimes. So that is really
Well said.
I'm on it today. Thank you so much, Hadeel. I really, really appreciate you coming here and sharing.
Also, oh my God, another thing I tell myself.
Please tell me.
Never ever get bangs.
Don't ever cut your
Don't
bangs.
ever get bangs.
Did you cut your bangs during COVID?
No, I did it before that, and I did it in high school.
Okay.
And my photo ended up on the newspaper because I was one of the what is it called when you like when you
In
have
the
high
news?
score in school.
Oh, like okay, for Jordan you say توجيهي, but I don't know what it is.
متفوقين مش عارفة.
Superior grades.
No. When you're like on like you have an honors. I don't know.
Honors distinction list.
أيوة Allah.
Okay.
English. Anyway.
Yeah, I got you,
So
girl.
I my photo ended up in the newspaper, and
Okay.
I looked very, very, very. It was a humbling moment. I'm not gonna judge myself, but it was a very humbling moment.
I love how it's like, you know, value yourself consistent and don't get bangs.
Yeah. Don't get bangs.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate it.
I appreciate it as well.
Guys, if you like this video, do like, share, subscribe, or just say hey in the comments, and we'll see you in the next one.